Welcome to another episode of Prioritize. They accomplish while you drown in lists. It's difficult to juggle your responsibilities. Husband, father, brother. It goes on, but your energy doesn't.
You pondering what I'm pondering?
Prioritize what's right for you, not what's left behind. This is Prioritize with Toby Baker.
You'll have to speak up. I'm wearing a towel.
Oh, one of my favorite parts of that intro. Welcome back to Prioritize. I am the Baker Boy himself. Here we talk about faith, family, relationships, and more. Welcome to the show. My gosh, has it been forever since I've last dropped a podcast? I sit here now and I'm not even so much has happened. I think we have to start all over. That's why we're on season 2. I think after 53 episodes on season. And why does one start another season if it's a podcast stream? I don't know. Maybe it's because they've had several life changes. That would be me. Yes, the Baker Boy has had several life changes, both good and bad. Mostly, don't ask a recovering pessimist which one is which. Like, are they all good? Have they been mostly bad? What do you think we're going to tell you? Well, they've been, I'm a recovering pessimist, so I guess that's all different. But I believe the last podcast dropped March of 2024. Here we are, almost November of 2025. I'm so ashamed. There's been, okay, here's the difficulty. Not that you asked, but I'll go ahead and tell you.
You're right. We did not ask. We don't need explanations.
But I'll go ahead and tell you.
Of course you would.
So I was on the road an awful lot, and I tried to find a microphone that I could take with me that wouldn't, I didn't want to spend a couple $100 or more on a decent or halfway decent or good microphone that I could just plug right into my Mac and start, recording while I'm on the road. And so I bought a couple cheap microphones, and they sounded just like that.
You're kidding me. Cheap microphones sound cheap?
Yes, absolutely. So that was not going to be a thing because I may not have a lot of standards, but I appreciate good sound. I would imagine you appreciate good sound when you're listening to a song or, I don't know, perhaps a podcast. So with that level of quality required for these, I decided it's probably not a good idea to try to record a podcast on the road. And without that investment, we just thought I'll record when I'm at home. The problemo that happens is when you're at home, there's all these things that tend to pop up. Like, I don't know, life. Like, hey, we need to do some power washing to the siding of the house. And by the way, there's roofing repairs. And by the way, there's the side of the house repairs. And your garage needs worked on. The floor needs to be repaired. There's no epoxy on the garage floor. Oh, I'm so ashamed of that. All the cool people have the garages with the epoxy floor. I don't have that just yet. I'm sorry. I'm one of those lowlifes, I guess. One day, maybe we'll have the epoxy floor covering on the garage floor, and then I will join the ranks of high society. But until then, my friend, I'm one of those people. I don't think we're all bad, right? We're not terrible people just because I don't have the perfect, garage floor you can eat pizza off of. Of course, when you think about it and when you get right down to it, do you need a clean garage floor to eat pizza off it? I don't think so. Can we just be honest with each other? You could eat pizza just about anywhere you wanted to. Yeah, I would say that. So, speaking of life changes, and I've had quite a few of them. Like I said, I was traveling. I'm not even with that same company anymore, and not of my own doing. Nothing that I wanted to see happen. You know what happened? I got fired. That's what happened. Oh gosh, does that hurt? To say that. You ever been fired from a job? You know how that's not fun. I was going to say, do you know how much fun that is? No, it's there's no fun involved. It is a terrible feeling from top to bottom. I don't imagine that the president enjoyed firing me. I don't think that's one of the things he looks forward to at the beginning of the day.
Are you sure about that? I mean, firing Toby, that could be fun.
No, I think it wears on him a little bit. Although he's got a job to do, and part of that is looking out at the future. I thought, when you're in a company, and I was in a corporate environment, you have these big ideas. Like what I was a part of a division that they created, and we were working towards goals. I had some nice sales coming down the pipeline. I had a nice $1.5 million project with a very large speaker company. I'll try to just keep it vague, just because the specifics, that part doesn't matter. I had another $400,000 project with audiovisual equipment that was in the works, and they were about to sign. And I thought everything was hunky-dory, right? I thought everything was great. I just had a meeting with my immediate supervisor the week prior, and we're having this conversation, and I had shared with him that I'm going through some mental struggles. He says, "Look, man, everything's good. Just keep doing what you're doing." So I kept doing what I was doing. I was working on the upcoming sales. I was closing deals and making sure that I was following up on previous deals. And next thing you know, I'm getting called into the principal's office, and the principal sits me down. He says, I say principal because sometimes that's easier, but I don't know. They're just not fun conversations, and he didn't hem haw around. It wasn't a long drawn out. His president calls me in and says, "We're going to let you go. We're going a different direction." I'm like, but wait, I can still walk in a different direction if you need me to. And you try to scrape and claw and hold on to the position, but they've already made their decision, right? There's very little, if anything, that you can say that's going to change their decision. It was just made, and it was explained to me that it was nothing really that I did or did not do, but they're changing directions, and you're left there with this sinking feeling that you just plain suck, man. That's how I feel. Maybe not you, because you're a better person, because you have more life experience, because you're more mature, because you have a different character or personality trait. And granted, he didn't say anything against my character or against my personality. Nevertheless, it doesn't change how you feel at that moment. And I don't like to use profanity, so I'm not going to get into that. But I did feel like crap. Can I say crap on the podcast and not be bewildered by the masses? It didn't feel good. Man, if you've gone through life, maybe you've experienced that before. How in the world do you get over that? You got to go back to your desk, and there's all your colleagues, and they're all, they're like, they're there, right? They're they're working away, and then they see you grab a box, and they're like, what happened with Toby? I was just let go. They didn't see it coming. Nobody saw it. I shot a message out to my supervisor, and I says, "Hey, man, did you know? Did you see this coming, and we not talk about this at all? Like, did you glaze over it?" No, he didn't know either. So it was a surprise to all of us. And the only thing that brought some, I don't want to say comfort, but it let, like, I could breathe a little bit, that it wasn't me, was the fact that within a few days there had been several people that were let go, that were terminated, that were fired, whatever you want to say there. It all means the same thing, that you're not working for that company any longer. And the sinking feeling is that you grab, all my colleagues were great about it. They weren't mocking, they weren't critical. They prayed for me on my way out. They followed up afterward, and still, you're putting your stuff in your car and you're driving home. And then I get to explain to my wife, hey, I got fired. I got to explain to my eldest son, Dad, you're here a little early. What's going on? I don't work for that company anymore. And you can tell your friends, you can tell your strangers, well, it wasn't me. They were moving in another direction. Really? Were they really moving in another direction? Or were you not up to snuff? Were you not selling enough? Were you not potent at your job? Were you not good at your work? Were you not rising above? What's all the corporate speak? Because that's all the things that went through my head. That I'm not good enough here. Because if I was, they wouldn't have fired me, right? If I was good enough at my job, I would still have it. These are things that go through my mind even today. And this termination happened several weeks ago, more than a month ago. I don't know. Like I said before, they weren't critical. They weren't tossing a bunch of shade my direction, as the cool kids say. But nevertheless, man, you got to live with that, and then you move on. Now, is this the first job I've ever been fired from? Nope. 48 years old. I've seen my share of firings. I don't like to see any more. I'm okay if I never get fired from another job. And, of course, the smart entrepreneurs out there would say, well, if you never want to get fired from another job, then own your own job, build your own company. No, Steve Jobs might say that. He still got fired from the company that he built. And they came groveling back, but still. This is something that some people deal with. You got to pull the pieces together, and the next day, after the pain begins to subside, you start that next part of your journey, whatever that looks like in your life. I think mine started way back when I had a job at Arby's. You ever worked for a fast food company before? You got to be fast. You know what the things I'm not? I'm not fast. It doesn't matter how fast I try to work, how hard I try to, I'm not fast. I've been told this all my life. I don't try to be slow. I try to be quicker. I try to move faster. Honestly, I do, and I don't. I can't. Like, if the level's got to be 5, then I'm probably like round 3, but I second guess my work. I'm like, okay, did I pull this switch? Did I tie this off? Is this zip tied? Is that clean? Does that look right? Is it going to be appealing? Is this covering all the bad spots? Did we make it look right, good, square, plumb, flat, all the things? I lay my head on my pillow at the end of the day and looking up at the ceiling and wondering, why can't I move faster? Why can't I sell more, be better? Two words I'll be glad to see gone, hopefully in 2026, because I saw them a lot in 2025. Not necessarily that they were aimed at me. I might have heard this one time aimed at me. You know the 2 words? You know what they are? Do better. A lot of times it's said in jest, tongue in cheek, with a little bit of comedy behind it. Do better. Okay. All right, great. I'd love to. I started trading watches last year around April. Started training and trying to learn how to do this thing, watch a game. Everything's a game, right? Up your sales game, up your game. Like, is everything a game? I don't think everything's a game. Up your wrist game. Put more bling on that thing. I don't know about that. Watch trading isn't about putting more bling on your wrist, but there's still a lot of nuances to this watch game, and I keep hearing, do better. Okay, I'm trying. I'm taking the training. I'm moving through. I'm doing the deal flow. I'm getting a watch in, cleaning it up, and if it needs polished, if it needs maintenance, if I'm taking down all the statistics. I'm doing the posts. I'm taking the better pictures and still trying to move watches. And it's great side hustle, trying to build a business. Tough though, very tough. And once again, I'm not fast at it. No, I try to be fast, but then I'm looking at the pictures. I'm second guessing myself. I'm second guessing the photos and the listings and you name it. Man, I remember I built a fireplace, and I think I shared this on one of the previous podcasts. My goodness. I was scared just to start the project because my wife and I, we had talked about several times around Christmas, wouldn't it be great to have a fireplace and we can watch the movies and hang the stockings and the nice fire will glow in there. And it's just, the Christmassy feeling. And plus we don't have to turn the heat on in the house so high because we'll have nice warmth emitting from our fireplace that I built. Oh, gosh. This was scary. I had to call in reinforcements. I quadruple and quintuple checked my blueprints. I was reaching out to guys who had built big stuff. But I was like, hey, man, I know this is stupid. Can you look at my mess of a print and tell me what I need to change or augment? Or like, no, bro, just, do your thing. Don't overstress about it, man. It's going to turn out how it's going to turn out. I'm like, yeah, but can it turn out good, please? And I asked my brother to help me out because I got to the mantle and just freaked. And here's the thing. Once you start building inside your theater room or living room, you can't go back. You can't go back to what it was before. Oh, no. You have crossed that bridge, that threshold, that you're now on the other side of that with my wife is too patient that she would not be doing this, but I've talked with several other guys who are telling me, yeah, I'm trying to build this, and my wife is over there tapping her foot against the floor, arms crossed, wondering, are you going to be done soon, or are you still fiddling with that thing? And I got to the mantle, and I'm, oh, my gosh, what do I do here? And asked my brother, who had been doing some woodworking far before I even got into it. And I thought, hey, I love the look of wood and different little stuff that I had done. Like, sure, I could build a fireplace. What was I thinking? I got through it. I finished it. Don't know if I will ever in my life do another one. We'll sell this house and move. And like, I'm not building another. Nope. My wife wasn't tapping her foot incessantly, impatiently, waiting for me to finish. She didn't need to. I had that in my own head. I had like 50 of them just staring at me. Are you done yet? Do you think you could do better? Sucks getting fired. And you think, what could I have done differently? I could have changed. I could have tried to hand this in quicker, close that one faster, close this one bigger, change the margins on that sale. Yeah. Well, if you've lost your job before, have you been terminated from a position you really enjoyed? If you've been fired from a company that you've been at for a while, gosh, that sucks. Just know that I'm there with you. You're not the only one. It's not easy. You need somebody to talk to, reach out, shoot me a message. I'll sit, I'll listen with you. I can't help you any more than you can help me, or somebody else out there can help me. Man, it ain't easy. And you carry that feeling around with you until you drop it, until you realize, wait a minute, this feeling is not helping me. So I know this one is called Prioritizing the Book, but in this one, I got off the rails. But somebody once said that there are no tangents. My son believes that moving off, we have 3 of them. One of our sons believes that if I go off top, I'm going on a tangent. Dad's going on a tangent again. Am I really, though? There you go, Cameron. That one's for you. Yeah, so we, I don't know that there are any such things as tangents anymore. I think we start our life at point A and our life ends at Z, and it's never a straight line. Anybody would tell you that. They could be 15 years old and they haven't been a straight line. There's no such thing. And anyone who tells you that there's a straight line in your life from A to Z, they're not being truthful with you. They're not being honest. But, hey, I will always do my best to be honest, forthright with you on what's going on over here, helping you to prioritize faith, family, relationships, and more. My sons, in the meantime, they did this thing. You know, we have birthdays about once a year. And it's tough. When you get a certain age, like what do you get for you? Like what do you like we got to a certain age with our nieces. Like, I don't know what to buy our nieces anymore. They're out of the little girl stage. They're out of the just gummy bears and candy stage. They're out of the American Girl stage. They were into squishable. I didn't even know squishable. Who thinks of these words? They're out of the squishables phase. I have no idea what to get them anymore. Birthday, Christmas, I don't know. I'm of a certain age. Our boys, they don't know. And they never do have to buy me anything. That's never a thing, right? But they're a little bit like me. Like they kind of show appreciation by buying a gift for something. Like, I always want to think, how can I show my wife that I appreciate her? And if you're a female listening to this, you're probably saying, well, just tell her. Just open up your trap. You did it here on a podcast several times. So I do. I vocalize to her because I'm not sure exactly what her love language is. I know there's a few things. Touch, time. She loves spending time with me.
That's funny.
No, honestly, she loves spending time. I don't know if the trinkets are like stuff. She's not as much a stuff person, but I still like to surprise. I love surprises. So because I love surprises, I think she loves surprises. And she may not care as much about the surprises. That's okay. But our boys will ask, hey, Pops, what do you want for your birthday? This time they didn't ask me what I wanted, which is fine. Because, again, they don't have to get me anything. They're our boys. You know, we love them. I'm glad that I'm in their thoughts. These guys, they got their own podcast now. Can you believe it? Our sons, three of them, they're on the same podcast called The Baker Boys. And it's actually like far better than mine.
Like that's a big feat or something? Like that's triumph? Like what that is it? What are you talking about?
No, right? Well, why do you got to chime in? You're like, what do you?
Because I'm from Detroit. You can tell from accent.
So our boys have their own podcast. And I've been trying to think through this gift that they give me, which is more like homework, really. But they gave me this gift, and I've been trying to think through what's the best way to go about this. Because I've shared with you before, I'm working on a book. I've had several ideas for follow-up books and for alternate books. Our boys got me this cool thing. It's called a Family Keepsake Journal. It's a father's guided journal to share his life and his love. And I thought, would they appreciate me writing in this? Because they may not be able to read my handwriting. Or what if I tried this? What if I vocalized and started doing podcasts right out of this, then right out of the book? Like then they're able to listen. It's downloaded right into their podcast app or whatever. And it lives in infamy for them. Maybe this could be of value to you as well. Like as I'm going through these questions, got some really good questions and some notations on this thing and going through different years of life. And I think, maybe I could podcast about this. I don't know. On the, one of the pages here, it starts with a quote. It says, my father didn't tell me how he lived and let me watch him do it. So that's kind of cool because it's a big message to us as fathers who try to tell our kids the right thing and not just about do better. And then obviously with the Japanese method of Kaizen, we want to do better. Like I want to do better today than I did yesterday, which is sometimes a struggling feat in and of itself. But I want to do better today than I did yesterday. I'd like the podcast to be better than the last one, which is probably not going to be the case in this one. I'm sorry. I want to be able to tell stories better and more gripping stories and more attention grabbing stories, and that I think maybe that's what I'm built for, honestly, because I've been in sales and I don't know if I did as well. I've been in installation and I get it done. It looks good. I'm slow. One thing I know that I can do is I can tell a story. Give me a microphone, man. I'll do far better with a microphone than I can with a screwdriver.
Amen to that. I can testify.
That's not necessary. So the book starts out with, what was the date of your birth? What time were you born? What was the full name at birth? And my date of birth was in June. I was born in June 30th. It's a fantastic month. If you haven't been born in June, you may not be living right. I got no idea the time, and I was given a different name at birth. I don't know if it's appropriate to say right now, but I was adopted. Did you know this? Are you aware of it? Probably not. And I don't know how much water it holds. Like what purpose does that serve? Other than to say I was chosen by my parents that I called today. I call them, mom and dad. And I was, I don't even know if this is, what do you say? I mean, so I was born, my biological mom and dad. I don't know if they were ever married. It was explained to me that my biological mother had mental issues, right? Like, that's probably not a huge surprise to most people. I don't know how many of her demons transpired to me or transposed or transferred. I don't know how much of her mental instability transferred to me, but the biological father, maybe the best thing he ever did was told the people I call today, mom and dad, told them, hey, you just take them. Right? This is not a good situation. I only know this because that's what my mom and dad have explained to me. And they loved me, and still to this day, just like I was their own. Now there was a time when I was a kid and I thought, I wonder if like I was ever adopted. And maybe that's just a story that they told me. And then there was other times I thought, did they adopt me so they could have more? Was this a game? Like, do they honestly love me? I think that they do. And of course, my folks love me. Mom tells me all the time, but Pops has difficulty sharing that information with me. I don't know why. It's just tough for him to say I love you. I don't know why this is. Maybe that was how it was when he was a kid. I don't know. Were you named after a relative or someone else of significance? No, not that I'm aware. My name, Toby, is an acronym, and my grandpa Wright, who's not with us anymore, that guy, he was a good guy. I don't know him when he was young. I saw pictures of him when he'd first married Grandma, and they did their honeymoon at a campground. Can you imagine this? Their honeymoon was at a campground. Now today, if you're not honeymooning in the Bahamas or Costa Rica or someplace extravagant and luxurious, and apparently you're not doing it right. At least this is what I'm constantly told by social media, by some of the news things that I will the news outlets that I'll follow, and somehow you're doing it wrong if you're not having this lavish, warm, tropical, like, it's baloney. It's just baloney. If you're about ready to go on your honeymoon, this is so that you and your wife can learn a lot more about each other before that period where you come back to reality. You go back to work, she goes back to work, or somebody's at home or somebody's at work. However it is that the two of you work it out. It doesn't have to be lavish and huge and extravagant and tropical, okay? My wife and I's honeymoon was none of that. We didn't spend $7,000 or $17,000 or how much ever the average couple, married, newlywed couple spends on their honeymoon. And it used to be a huge thing where it was a secret. We're not telling anybody where we're going. We're not telling anybody. Why are you not telling anybody? You think we're going to follow you on your honeymoon? No. You don't even have to ask people where they're going. They'll just tell you straight up on their Instagram. Now, like, if it's not an Instagram-worthy honeymoon, then something must be wrong. And no, not the case. I've done some work with a guy, Isaac, and they own their own wedding event venue. He would explain to me that a lot of the weddings that they hosted out there, the bridezillas would be all about the Instagram-worthy photos. Are you kidding? No, not kidding. If it wasn't a photo they could instantly post on Instagram, then it wasn't worthy of them taking the photo. Gang, so few people care about your wedding photos, your honeymoon photos. This is your time, all right? Prioritize how you want that day to be remembered, how you want that honeymoon to be remembered, not how you think it should be shown to others and how are other people going to see my Instagram photos. Get all that stuff out of your head, all right? If you're getting ready to be married, shoot photos of you guys together. Shoot photos of your whole wedding party, of the family that's there, your friends that are there, because hear me when I say this, 30 years down the road, you're not going to remember everybody that was there. That's why you got the photos, okay? You're not taking photos to show everybody else, hey, look how great our wedding day is. Stop it. Just stop it. Break apart from that stupid race because it is futile. That race is only as good as the next person who comes in with a more extravagant wedding. You ever been to an Indian wedding? Oh my word! Do these people put over? It's like the Jasmine and Aladdin. They blow it out of the. Oh my word! It's like a prince and a princess getting it. Nothing like I've ever seen. If they're not spending $50,000 plus on the wedding day, apparently they're doing it wrong. I went to a reception and I was shooting video and we were going to cut that up for the wedding couple. They were doing a reception on the West Coast and this was the reception on the East Coast. And I thought, hey, I should be good in a pair of jeans, a shirt, tie, jacket, comfortable shoes because I'll be on my feet for the whole reception. And I get there. I was so underdressed with the suit jacket, tie, shirt, and jeans. I was like, hey, who invited the camera guy? Why is he not in a tuxedo? It is fancy, fancy, fancy. Anything wrong with that? No. Here's what I'm saying. You don't have to do that. You don't have to go to great lengths for you and your spouse to enjoy the day, to remember the honeymoon, to remember your life, because your photos are about you guys. It's not about showing others. Look how great. Okay, sorry. My grandpa and grandma they did their honeymoon at camp, and I remember I still got one of the photos. It's great. Grandpa was a cut up. He would ham it up. He would, he's just loving life. and he went home to be with the Lord a few years ago, and still miss him. Still miss him around. We got the holidays coming up, and we'd invite them over for Christmas. I still remember being a kid at Thanksgiving time, and we would get to go see the family, and the cousins and all the aunts and uncles would be there, and we'd be all around the grand table. And of course, I was at the kids' table until I was 22 or whatever. And I just loved the community at that time. I loved being together and the food and everyone under the same roof, like that. It felt like that's what it was all about. When nobody was shooting photos for their Instagram, and nobody was like, if you're taking photos, we wanted a big family photo for that year. And so that we can remember when we look back, hey, remember this year when we're all together? And we're not all together now. You grow up, you move away, you start families and lives and livelihoods, and you got life, and you got schedules, and you got calendar stuff that pops up, and you're many, many states away. So getting together for the holidays is not easy, and in some cases it's impossible. But my grandpa would tell me that my name was an acronym. Toby was an acronym. Trouble on board, TOB. Why? Because that's how it was, I guess. So was I named after a relative or somebody else of significance? I don't think so. But that was the acronym that my grandpa gave me. Thank you very much. If you've been given a vote, what name would you have picked for yourself? What about you listening to this podcast? On this show, if I were to ask you, hey, if you would have been given a vote, what name would you have picked for yourself? Because I don't know. I never thought about it a whole lot. I thought about some different names, Brandon, Caleb. I don't know. Those sounded cool. Toby's really significant. It's unique. That's what I want to say. It's unique. It's different. I don't. There's one other person I met with my first and last name, and I looked him up on the interwebs, on the Facebooks. I was like, holy crap! There's another Toby Baker. I don't believe it. And his birthday would come up, and I'm like, hey, it's your birthday that we're celebrating. Stupid, I know, silly, but there it is. In what city were you born? I was born in Detroit.
No kidding. So was I. We're both from Detroit.
I know. I'm really excited about it, but thank you. Were you born in a hospital? If not, where? Yes, but I don't know the name of the hospital. I haven't returned. I don't. Have you ever visited your hospital? I don't know how that goes. But anyway, this is season 2, episode 1. This is going to be an interesting book for me to go through. Hopefully it's not about listening to me and my life and me ramble on and take the different tangents, even if there are no tangents. And hopefully the principles that I've learned here recently that I'm trying to apply to my life, you can take and apply to yours. We go through tough times, and we only carry it around as long with us until we drop it and we move on. What I would say to you today is prioritize what's important for you. Prioritize those important things, because tomorrow is promised to no one.